Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Will the school please stand?
Very good morning, everybody. It's great to see you. Please do take a seat. So a very warm welcome to the Bacon Theatre for our end-of-year GCSE prize giving. First time we've ever done this. And to the parents and family members joining us online, to the members of the common room, the fifth form down here in the stalls, and then the remove up in the balcony. It is wonderful to be able to gather together as many as possible of us to celebrate this morning. And we don't take these events for granted anymore, do we? So in a year when every activity has been questioned, why do we do this or how do we do that? A question has to be asked, why do we have prize giving? So why do we select individuals when we know that so many of you in this room have made huge strides forwards? So what we're doing is we're choosing representatives of the work that you have done in the classrooms, both physically and online, for the last 2 years. If you can think of a subject in which you have made great strides forward this year, when you hear the name of the person collecting that prize, they do so as a symbol of what has been achieved in that area this year. So their work points to what can be done in these classrooms. And this morning is partly a celebration of all that you have achieved. So first point is this, it's a celebration of what you and your teachers have achieved. But secondly, these events remind us about what we think is important in a liberal education. It's exposure to the greatest ideas in history. It's building an understanding of our place in relation to others. It's preparing to have an impact on the future, expressing complex, personal, or challenging ideas. So this assembly is a picture, really, of our broad curriculum. So that's the second thing that this does for us. And the third thing it does is it highlights our values. And we recognise this morning that we need courage to succeed as a learner, to take a risk. We recognise that love is not always just a feeling, but it's about building reason and understanding so that we can recognise those who are in need and we can do something to help. But it's not just about turning up to a lesson, and we all have to contribute to this learning process. So courage, love and contribution, all of those combine to help us to flourish, and they are written all the way through these prizes. However, prize giving is also a chance for heads to test out some jokes. And I have to say that generally it's easier when there are parents in the room, but I'm prepared to take the risk with a series of one-liners from the Edinburgh Fringe that I'm going to include in between each of the 5 sections. So there are really 4 reasons for prize giving: to celebrate, to remind us about our curriculum, to recognise our values, and for heads to tell jokes. Mr. Hall has already talked you through the process, so we're going to get straight on in a moment. We've got 5 different sections this morning. Maths and science, English languages and culture, and I've got a little freeze, but I'm sure that'll all work out as we go. We've got humanities, creatives, and co-curricular. So our first prize this morning is going to be for maths and science. So to get us going with that, there's a little one-liner from a comedian called Masai Graham. And Masai Graham said this, if I can just get my device to work a bit better. My dad has suggested that I register for a donor card. He's a man after my own heart. It's good, isn't it? Thank you very much. So Maths and Science Prize this morning are awarded to Jason Yao, the Flecker Prize for Maths. Jason's already headed home and is currently quarantining somewhere in a hotel in China. The Clay Prize for Physics is awarded to Zach Brooks. The Bacon Prize for Chemistry to Theo Perkis. The Woodward Prize for Biology to Hanny Wong. The Computer Science Prize to Lily Bond. The Food Prep and Nutrition Prize to Josh Gordon, and the PE Prize to Madeline Macy. bear with me a moment while I just sort out a slight little IT challenge I'm having. Okay, so my second one-liner, you ready for this? The first one went well, I thought. From Adam Rowe. Working at the job centre has to be a tense job, knowing that if you get fired, you still have to come in the next day. Warm, I think, not quite as good as the first one. I think our applause levels can also go up in terms of our enthusiasm, so we need to fill the theatre with applause this morning, please. So, English Languages and Culture Prizes. The Goner Prize for English is awarded to Lydia Coniam. The Flecker Prize for Latin to Charlie Harris. The Flecker Prize for Classical Civilization to Niamh Allen. The Griffiths and Wallace Prize for French to Lucy Humphreys. And the Griffiths and Wallace Prize for Spanish to Holly Stewart Davis. My third one-liner is from Tommy Tiernan. Two flies are playing football in a saucer. One says to the other, make an effort, we're playing in the cup tomorrow. Thank you, colleagues. Humanities Prize this morning is awarded to the John Baylor Prize for History to Anthony Chihota. The Burritt Prize for Geography, Zena Moss. The Flecker Prize for Religious Studies, Rhian Sneath. The Woodward Prize for Economics to Dan Mills. And the Woodward Prize for Business to Ben Quayle. Tim Vine comes up now. I've decided to sell my Hoover. Well, it was just collecting dust. Appropriately, moving on to the Creative Prize. The Major Rickaby Prize for Art is awarded to Anushka Page. The Major Rickaby Prize for Design Technology to Josh Wu, and I'm pretty sure that Josh has returned home. Yeah. The David Lepine Prize for Music to Molly Godfrey, and the Theatre Studies Prize for Drama to Jamie Treatman Clark. So my final joke, if we can maybe stop the clapping game. I know it's not quite as funny as my jokes, and it does get a bit more tiresome. The fifth one-liner is from a comedian called Dan Atopolsky. He says, hedgehogs, why can't they just share the hedge? That's going to make you laugh a lot later on today. I think it'll just come back to you. So the co-curricular prizes. So it's not only celebrating the things that we do in our classrooms, but also the contributions that we make in and around school to our co-curricular life. We saw, as gentlemen on the stage last night, for the first time in a while, the King Reynolds Prize is awarded to Zach Brooks for drama. The Bergen Prize for contribution to cultural life is intended to span across at least two of our arts, and that is awarded to Charissa Samatu. The Forbes Prize for sport for contribution to sport in the lower school to Alex Powell and to Lucy Humphreys. The only one of our removed collecting a prize this morning is the Gloucester's Prize for the best recruit in training from the CCF, and that is Martha Green. And the Colin Cox Prize for service to the lower school, Charlie Harris. Now, ladies and gents, over the summer, there's going to be a lot written about grade inflation, and I fully expect the government to hide behind teachers on this one and to tell everyone how teachers know best. But what you have to remember through all this, and this is relevant for those of you in the Remove as well as in the fifth form, is that your grades will stack up against anyone who has gone before you. You have had to sit trial exams, you have had to work out how to learn at home, you've had to negotiate complex journeys home, cope with social separation, you've not had many of the activities that add to our joys in school or at home, playing matches, singing, going to the cinema, hanging out in a coffee shop, going to the theatre, sitting where you want in a lesson, not having to wear masks in assemblies and lesson. So when you put this against a normal year of study and social life, you have done incredibly well. Every single grade that has been submitted by my colleagues and then by the Director of Studies and Mr. Hole and then signed off myself is there because you have given us the evidence to write that grade. It is not a gift we as a school are giving you, it is what you have done. And so very, very well done, every single one of you. And I think Remove and colleagues, it would be appropriate for us just to congratulate the fifth form on their own for all that they have achieved during this really quite difficult season. So well done to the whole of the fifth form. So we've done really well on time. Remove, you're going to be heading straight to period 1. And then fifth form, you are warmly invited to move over to the dining room. We'll let the Remove go first, where there's a drink and a pastry before you rejoin lessons in period 2. So for Remove, members of the common room, if you'd like to make your way first of all. And thank you to parents for joining us today.